Hello folks and welcome. Ubuntu. This is the standard desktop. So this is a subscriber request and this is Ubuntu 24.04.1 LTS long-term support. And you can see my hardware information there. So I'm filming in, actually I'm filming in 1080 but the desktop is in 4K mode. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Ubuntu and a little bit about your file manager. So generally this is default and you have a home icon sitting in the corner. So let you look at my display settings. I'm in 4K 200% scale mode, but I'm filming in 1080. So adjust your YouTube player accordingly. Right about where that home icon, you should find my subscription key there if you haven't subscribed yet. I have well over 500 videos on all kinds of subject matter. All right, so we can go through the menus really quickly. Once you install Ubuntu, we can also do a little bit of software updates. We can install software through terminal. We can install software through the stores. And we have some icons sitting in here. All right, so we have the simple thing there. You can add some clocks. You can, you get the idea. At the top here, you can probably see that icon. It's recording, and we have the multi-function icon here. We have the shutdown icon here. You're presented with the restart and power and log off, that kind of thing. All right, so in either case, starting at the top, we have Firefox. Then we have Files, which I'll talk about a little bit deeper. We have Terminal, which we can do all kinds of things with, including giving you system information. Bob is the user for today. It's just a made-up name. Control-Shift+++. So there's your tip for enlarging that in a hurry. If you're not too keen on Terminal, that's our user, and that's the name of the computer. Using the upper arrow key, I performed that earlier. The INXI is installed on this system. The -big FXE strips out personal information. All right, so generally I have 32 gigs of RAM installed. I use this machine for other stuff. This is running systemd for you folks that want to know the INIT. And I will scroll to the top using my computer mouse. So what kind of computer is this? Well, it's a desktop tower computer. Standard wireless keyboard, standard wireless mouse. Didn't have to install a thing. All right, so 6.8 series Linux kernel. Again, this is Ubuntu 24.04.1 LTS. Noble Numbat, that's just the nickname they gave it. Long-term support is what the LTS stands for. So it's a GNOME desktop, version 46. For some of you folks who care, the GCC is 13.3.0. My motherboard information is right here. You can actually copy this stuff and put it in a web browser if you're looking for that kind of info. I'm running an AMD Ryzen 7 8-core with an AMD graphics card, Radeon RX 580. And some additional information about my other toys and drives and everything else. All right, boring stuff to some. But again, the subscriber request was, can you do more videos for Ubuntu? So I'm doing that. So in this video, I'm just talking basic stuff, even though that is information all about the system. So we have the file manager, and when we click the hamburger menu, it's just called Files. And I'm going to get into this in a minute because I'm going to do special stuff like that. Some extra tips for you that you may or may not have seen elsewhere. So we have Terminal, we have the App Center, and we can look for new toys. Okay. Simple Screen Recorder is going to be used to record this video. Now, one thing to understand in case you do use Simple Screen for anything is the machine normally defaults to Wayland desktop environment. Now, my Simple Screen Recorder doesn't work in that environment. So that's why I'm using the X11. And you can do it from your login screen. Okay. So the question mark is obviously your help, and you can, get some additional info about the system. The two drives that I have in here is one is called Backup 2 and Demo. They're both hard drives and trash. Over here is Show Apps. Additional drivers, do I need anything? Not really, because I have an AMD graphics card, and generally those are installed by default. NVIDIA graphics card, on the other hand, if you have those, you are probably going to be receiving a message in here that additional proprietary drivers are available for you to install. They don't cost anything except your time. All right, so Ubuntu software, Conical. And anyways, moving along. I'm not using the Pro version. So we have drivers. We have the firmware updater. We have clocks. We have image viewer, language support. And you get the idea. There's several tools installed by default. Now, if you don't know what this is, I did not install it, but the SSH key agent is installed by default for a startup. Because I can use SSH also in the file manager and terminal to log into a secure shell. I have a server online right now on my local network, and I'll be showing you that particular piece of information for a little bit of medium to advanced stuff. But we're going to mostly stick with basic stuff today. All right, so moving along, we have the update software with update and software updater. So you may want to run that occasionally, of course, if you want to do some manual updates. And here's your settings here. You can click this open, even though it says display, and your settings are also here. System monitor, I already talked about startup apps, and this over here. And utilities. Advanced network information if you need that kind of stuff. Disk usage analyzer. GNOME disk utility. I'm not really going to open these. It's just too deep for the scope of this video. But anyways, I wanted to let you see what's in the utilities. So text editor, VLC, I think I added that one, but I don't think it's there by default. So anyways, when we're dealing with adding software, those goodies get added into that area. And if you decide you want a toy over here, you just go and toss it in there. And pull it back if you want to stick it back in here. All right, so I will leave that somewhere up in there. Okay, so you can also search for stuff in there. Desktop 1, 2. There's multiple things that we can play with. All right, so generally from the main screen, we have the calendar at the top. We have right-click, new folder, select all, arrange icons by whatever. And we can also do what a lot of people like to do is change the background. The wallpaper background, same thing. You can also use your own if you just go find that in your file manager. I'll be showing that in a minute. You can also open up the terminal. The desktop icon settings, if you do have them, is currently set for large. You can set it for small, tiny. I call them dinky. Icon sizes are also down here. All right, so the display settings, as I pointed out to you when I started filming, adjust your YouTube player accordingly, is what I usually say on all of my 500 plus videos. If you're not a subscriber, I demo everything that I have videos on. I also speak a lot slower than others because English is my second language. And I have subscribers all over planet Earth and that are non-English speaking in a lot of cases. And I'll repeat myself for emphasis. A small joke there. All right, 4K mode, 200% scaling. You can choose whatever. And if you decide to switch that, your scaling factors are slightly different, depending on your graphics card and monitor. I'm not going to hit apply, it'll terminate my video. But you can see my monitor is capable of doing 120 Hertz, and there's some new gaming monitors that are even faster. All right, so we have the nightlight thing also on or off. You can experiment with that. So generally what my subscriber asked me for is to do a video on this particular distribution. So what I'm going to focus in on today for the mainstay is this file manager, because we interface with it quite often. All right, if you see these blank spots in here, what I'm going to do is double click on them with my computer mouse. A lot of my subscribers know how to do this. Double click that blank area instead of hitting that little key there. The other thing I can do to close that box is use Alt and F4, providing my F4 key isn't assigned if it's a laptop. This is a tower computer. F4 is not assigned. Double click, click and hold, pull it straight up. Click and hold, pull it straight down. Just a couple of extra tips for you. All right, I am going to drag this box out. So holding down my control key on my keyboard, I am going to scroll up with my computer mouse to make the icons bigger, and then scroll backwards to make them, well, smaller, and somewhere in between. Once I get them to the size I want, I'll let go of the control key. We can also look at different views. That's not a problem. You can also make changes in the hamburger menu. Some of your keyboard shortcuts you may or may not be familiar with. I'm going to use a very popular one on all Linux modern file managers, Control H. All right, so Control H shows hidden stuff. Anything that starts with a dot or a period. Born Again Shell History. Let's take a peek at that one. Oh, little hint for you. That's how I installed Simple Screen Recorder. All right, I'm not sure if NeoFetch was installed at the time. We can certainly find that out. I don't think it is. No, it's not. So, but this is recording every keystroke that I make, is what I'm getting at. Now, some of you folks that want to run Secure Shell, I have something over here as a shortcut that says SFTP. And that requires a security certificate. Where is it stored? Right here. In period.ssh in the known host file. It's cryptic looking. Yes, authorized keys. So anyways, moving along. We're going to turn off hidden, Control H. So when we're dealing with pictures, we can right click on these icons and we can set them as background. And set as background as a set? Sure. Now the big butterfly you can see in the background there. Okay, we can also double click on these things and we can get the plus or minus, or you can hold down the Alt key and scroll with your computer mouse. I'll go full screen. Okay, I'll hit escape. This tool is called Image Viewer. It has some options, as you can see, including slideshow. Whatever images that you have. And what I'm going to do here in a couple of minutes, I'm going to log into a machine that is sitting as a file server on my network to download some more stuff. All right, so we can hold down the control key and scroll back and forth. Not a problem. When we're dealing with documents, we can double click and go take a peek at these things. And we can also either use that key or just double click in this area here to go full screen. Hold down your control key while scrolling when you're doing this stuff. It may freak you out, but more importantly, I let go of the control key. Now I'm in very large mode and I can look at my M40 engraving. It's a laser engraver. Double click, close. That's a legitimate text file, believe it or not, if you're kind of new to the Linux world. We don't need extensions on some of these text files, as you can see. Also, you'll see the same concept if you're using script files. So we have the recent start home folder with all your goodies in it. And again, you can scroll in and out, holding down the control key while scrolling. And you can also click that and that. I find it a lot easier just to do it with my trick. Hold down the control key while scroll with your mouse. Granted, if you have a touchpad, maybe hold down the control key and use, I think it's 2 fingers on a touchpad. I really don't care for those things. So what is this thing over here? It says / on MX99 local. That's my one of my servers. All right, so basically I'm going to be logging into that system with a password. I've already accepted the security certificate. This is another hard drive, sorry, another system. And I have full control of their shares. So I'm going to boot that out and go ahead and click other locations, okay? And you can see networks below this line. Now that system I was just logged into is this one. So through the network, this is how it's viewed, share 1 and 2. However, I was logged into the main system with all the folders using SSH Secure Shell. I can log into this as anonymous and go pull files out of it. Or this one, because these are demo files. I have all kinds of information. How do you log into SSH on a machine that is running SSH server through this interface with the basic installation software of Ubuntu desktop? In the address bar, you generally are going to be dealing with SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol. However, I have a nifty little trick for you. If that machine is running the SSH server, you can also do SSH : 2// the name of the user, in my case, T-Man. These are all made up. These are all demo servers. And since I don't have the IP address at my fingertips, but I know the name of the computer was MX99, I can put .local on the tail end. If the machine requires me to accept a security certificate, accept it. But in my case, I am just going to log into T-Man remotely. I do need his password though. And remember password or not, that's up to you. Unlock. This is not the local drive. You can see that address bar. So if I hit Control L as in Larry, you can see that it changed to SFTP T-Man at mx99.local. What that means is I'm logged into that machine and I can use the Secure File Transfer Protocol to transfer files back and forth. You want me to demo this? I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. Why am I doing that? Because I'm going to use Control N as in Nancy to make another box. And then I want to go to this user's home folder and open up documents and go transfer some goodies. So that's the user on that system. And that's their 2 shares, what you found earlier, or I showed earlier. However, I'm going to pull this directly from his documents folder. So if I wanted that, whatever that photo is, then I can do it here. This is using Secure Shell. As I pointed out, I was going to do some advanced stuff here toward the end of the video. And that's what this is. Can I log into that machine using terminal? Absolutely. I'll do it from here. I'll even show you what the hardware that's on that machine. I could use the IP address also. So I'm sorry, that's not the correct one. It's MX99 actually is the name of the server. And .local. This is a local server. Now, if I hadn't accepted the security certificate, which is currently in my home folder hidden under .ssh. I showed you that file earlier. That's where it's stored. But I need the whole password. And you won't see me type this. However, now I'm logged in as that guy on that system. It's like I'm operating it remotely. Those are the folders that are in there. You can see the 2 green SharePoints. Okay. Let's make it bigger for you. So I'm going to punch up clear, as one would say, and I'm going to give you INXI information on that system. It's quite different on this than the current machine I'm using. So that particular server is running MX 23.5. Actually, the advanced, no, I'm sorry, this is the regular version, the 6.1 series kernel. But you can tell that's a dual core Intel. Believe it or not, the computer fits in my hand. It's very similar to Raspberry Pi. But it's running on XFCE, desktop with server software. And also SSH, obviously, because I'm doing this. All right, so we can create another tab if you like. Shift. Anyways, I'll make that bigger for you. Shift. Control, Shift, and plus is what I was trying to get at. That was the command I was using earlier. So you can see that this system, Ubuntu, is using a 6.8 series kernel. The other system is using a 6.1. So yes, you can do some advanced stuff with this. Right out of the box, no extra software. Too much info? Maybe. Change background. All right, so we have some colorful looking stuff. Okay, so that's the wallpapers that are included, or backgrounds, with Ubuntu. You may not like that. Maybe you have some pictures of the kids or whatever. Do I have any pictures in here? No, but I have another internal hard drive. So yes, I have many ways of doing this kind of stuff. And let me look at wallpapers in here. I think I have a couple of photos. I got Painter Hat Guy. I'll click him for a second. And let me grab another personal photo. Hold down the control key and click that one. And hold down the control key and click that one. What I'm going to do is copy all of them to my local directory here. So that came off of a second hard drive. So I could theoretically go back in here and open this with Image Viewer. I can also go back, reopen the File Manager, Pictures, and set as background. Another name for that is wallpaper. So if it's Painter Hat Guy, well, I think I've shown this many times before. But I'll use the photo this time. All right, so since that is a vertical photo, you do get some different effects. The stuff is cut off from the top. It's a beach in Oregon, if you're curious, Oregon, USA. I don't remember what I took this with. But anyways, image properties will tell me that. It was an iPhone 12 Pro. So you get a wealth of information when you bring in photos to this file manager. Okay. It even gives me the coordinates. Some of you folks may take a screenshot of that. It's 42.164, 319 degrees north. You get the idea, by 124.x amount west. Anywho's, we have lots of ways of doing a lot of things in our file managers nowadays. I don't even know what that is. That is one strange looking wallpaper. All right, whatever you're into. I think that was default. I'll say thank you for watching.